Hi, friends. It's Joy with In Search of Joy Wellness. Thank you for joining me this week for our session. This session I call Taking Back Your Power. So, we're going to be doing a few balancing poses and a few strength poses so that we can feel our core, feel the strength in our arms, and feel the strength in our legs and be super proud of ourselves. So, let's go ahead and get started. Find a place on the mat. I am going to sit on a block. Make sure as we sit, you're really pressing your sit bones into the block or the mat, lengthening the spine, not overextending the low back. You want to make sure you keep the natural C curve in the back. Shoulders slightly up and back as you are kind of bringing them down as well as you lengthen your neck up to the sky. Crown of the head is reaching the sky. Go ahead and place our hands on our knees facing upward. And let's go ahead and take a few conscious breaths, getting into the moment. Thank you yourself for showing up for your practice today. Thank yourself for finding a little bit of balance and peace in your day. Sometimes life is so hectic. We're always like on that, walking that tightrope, and sometimes it's nice to walk away from all of that and walk in to the four corners of your mat and leave the outside world behind and finding a little bit of balance for yourself. One more inhale. Next exhale. Let's go ahead and remove what we're sitting on. I'm going to go ahead and get into cat and cow. Make sure that your shoulders are over your wrists and your wrists are under your shoulders. Fingers are long and lengthened out. And you're really gripping the mat. So there's creating kind of like a little tent underneath in the palm of your hand, so you're not dumping all the weight and keeping the integrity of the pose and you don't hurt your wrists. You want to make sure that your hips are over your knees, hips are over your knees and knees are under the hips. Your knees are going to be hips distance apart, which is about 2 fists width apart in between your knees. So you don't want them super wide out. The outer part of the hip, we are looking for the skeletal part of the hip bone. Okay. From here, in our neutral spine, tucking your toes, you want to make sure that as you start, we're going to start at the base of the spine. And we're going to start to round or curve the tailbone up towards the sky. As we start to do that, our tummy will start to extend down to the floor, reach down to the floor. As we do that, shoulders are starting to roll up and back as the chest pulls through. Neck open or throat open, gazes up. On an exhale, we're going to tuck at the tailbone, starting at the tailbone, tucking that in towards the belly button. As we do that, start to push the ground away, really reaching the spine up to the sky, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, starting at the base of the spine, start to curve upward. Sending the sit bones up, tummy reaching down as the chest reaches through the shoulders, opening the throat, gaze up. Exhale, Starting at the tailbone, tucking the tailbone as we start to push the ground away. Spine reaching the sky, really puffing up those shoulders. Tucking the chin to the chest. Now let's go ahead and do this on your own breath and start at the base of the spine on each breath at an inhale and an exhale. Slowly undulating the spine. Two more times. Inhale. Exhale. Pushing that ground away. Last breath. Exhale. Coming to a neutral spine. Woo, how was that for you guys? Sometimes when you start to undulate the spine, one vertebra at a time, you're able to actually pop the spine. I love doing cat and cow. It's one of my favorites because it really has helped me to get my spine to be much more limber. It was pretty tight. And you think being a cyclist, you would be limber. There's some areas that are super tight. I found that out. So let's go ahead and prepare. We're going to start to do our flow. Let's move into downward facing dog. Tucking the toes, shifting the hips up and back. Let's settle into our first downward dog. Lifting the hands, bringing them back down. Making sure that you're placing the weight of your hand, or the weight, into your first finger and your thumbs. Get going those hands out, making sure you're gripping with your fingers as well. Sending the hips up and back in this downward sensation as well. That creates a lot of strength and power in your legs, and it opens up your calf muscles. I don't know if you feel that sensation. You can bend the right leg, straighten, bend the other. Ooh, you can kind of feel the stretches that happen on the outer part around like your IT band area. Let's go ahead and find stillness. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and step or jump to the top of the mat, and we're going to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, slight cobra in the back, shoulder, crown of the head reaching forward, shoulders up and back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing so much into the ground. Slight bend in the knees as you round the torso up, one vertebra at a time, hands meet above the head. Inhale, exhale. Hands to heart center, forward fold. Now today we're going to plant our hands and we're going to step back into plank. Coming into plank, you want to make sure that your shoulders are over your wrists. Crown of the head is reaching forward. You're pushing the ground away. Tighten your tummy muscles. Really sucking in that gut. That'll protect your low back. Heels, your feet are tucked, your toes are tucked, and your heels are extending to that imaginary wall behind you. From here, we're going to exhale, dropping the knees to the ground, shifting the body forward, and we're going to come into Ashtangasana. Inhale, low cobra or high cobra, whichever you prefer. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting the right foot, tripod dog, really extending those toes up to the sky, keeping the hips level. On an exhale, shifting forward, stepping that foot in between the hands. We are going to drop that left heel to the ground in a 45-degree angle as we come up into Warrior One. Torso is facing forward. You're pulling back on your right hip crease and pulling forward on your left hip crease, keeping the body square in line. Breathe here. On each exhale, maybe you can even start to deepen the pose and come in a little bit deeper. I don't know if you can feel it, but I can feel the stretch on the outer part of my hip and also on the inner part of my thigh. Next exhale, go ahead and open up into Warrior Two. Breathing here. Squeezing that orange in between the shoulder blades. Really engaged here, keeping that, your tummy muscles tucked tight. On your next exhale, go ahead and come to downward facing dog, and we will do our flow. So here we go. Downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, slight cobra in the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to standing Tadasana, hands meet above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center in prayer, forward fold. Planting the hands, we're going to step back and we are going to come into plank. Exhale here, dropping the knees, chest into the ground, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide through into high or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we're going to step or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold, and we are going to take chair pose. So, the two big toes are touching, heels are slightly apart, placing the weight of the body into the heels so you could actually lift your toes up. As we sit the hips back, reaching the arms, lengthening the spine and crown of the head up to the sky, chair pose. Tightening your tummy muscles, tightening your glute muscles. Forward fold. Inhale, planting the hands, stepping back. Downward facing dog. And let's go ahead and take our flow. Inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing so much into the mat, we come to standing. Unrolling the spine one vertebra at a time. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center, forward fold. Planting our hands, we're going to step back, or you can jump back into plank, whichever is comfortable for you. Dropping the knees, chest, chin to the ground. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now let's do the other side. Inhale, lifting the left leg up to the sky, really stretching those toes out. On an exhale, stepping that foot through in between the hands. Dropping that back heel at a 45-degree angle, lifting the torso on an inhale. Warrior One. Gazes forward, really pulling forward on the right hip crease and pulling back on the left hip crease, keeping the hips square. Breathe here. Next inhale, let's go ahead and open up, Warrior Two. Same action here, pulling back on the left hip crease, pulling forward on the right hip crease, reaching fingers in opposite directions. Next exhale, go ahead and drop the hands to the mat. Step that left foot back, downward facing dog. And we will not do our, yes we will. We will do our flow. So inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to standing Tadasana. Hands meet above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center, forward fold. Planting the hands, stepping back, coming into plank. Exhale, dropping the knees, chest, chin to the ground. Inhale, low cobra or high cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold. And from here, make sure that the big toes and the heels are slightly apart. We're going to sit the hips down as we reach the arms up to the sky. Arms, biceps alongside the ears, lengthening the spine up. Really building strength here. I like chair pose. It's one of my favorite poses. Exhale, fold, and we will do our flow. Planting the hands, stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale, pressing the feet into the ground. Rounding the spine as we come up to standing, hands meet above the head. Exhale, hands to heart prayer, forward fold. Planting the hands, stepping back, we'll come into plank. Dropping the knees, chest, chin to the ground. Inhale, slide forward, low cobra or high cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we're going to lift the right leg up to the sky in tripod dog. And we're going to step that right foot in between the hands as we drop the left knee to the mat. And we're going to inhale, chest reaches through. This is low lunge. Pulling back on the left hip crease. Pulling forward on the left hip crease, pulling back on the right hip crease. Now, some of you may have to do lunge up here, and that's fine. You can do the higher lunge. Exhale, planting your hands, and we're going to lift that left knee off the mat, and we're going to step that right foot back down into downward facing dog, and we're going to switch and do the other side. Lifting the left toes up to the sky, tripod dog. Exhale, stepping that left foot in between the hands as we drop the back knee, chest through, gazes forward. Just a couple more breaths here in our low lunge. This was really good. Planting your hands on an inhale, lifting that right knee off the mat. I wonder if we can challenge ourselves. Let's go ahead and step that right foot right next to the left foot and forward fold. From here, make sure that your big toes are touching slightly. Heels are slightly apart. Bend at the knees, sending the hips back, lifting the arms up to the sky, lengthening the spine, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Now you might feel some shaking when you're doing chair pose. That's good. If you have to come out of it, you feel the burning, move out of it a little bit and then come back in. Let's go ahead and take our seat all the way down to the mat. From here, we're going to do side plank. Now, let's see what would be the best way to show you how to do this. Some of you, if you cannot bring your whole body weight to the side and doing side plank, you can keep your knee. I think sometimes even this knee, the right knee in the front, is better. It gives you a better stretch. So that's what we'll do. All right. So we'll come into table. From here, what you're going to do is, if you can, extend both legs out, come into plank. You're going to drop your heels to the left side of the mat, bringing all of your weight into your feet and your pinky edge of your foot and the left arm, reaching the right finger's tips up to the sky. Can you see me shaking? If this is hard for you, you can bring this right leg in front of you, toes facing forward, pushing the ground away. And you can learn how to come into this pose properly and start to feel how the edge of your foot feels, how your wrist and hands feel, how it feels in line when it's stacked above each other. Exhale, dropping the right hand to the mat. Let's go ahead and step back into downward facing dog. That's like a little bit of a restorative pose. And let's come into plank and we'll do the other side. So from plank, dropping the heels to the right side of the mat, coming on the right pinky edge of your foot, lifting that left hand up to the sky. Breathing here. Pushing that ground away. Exhale, dropping the knees, the left hand down to the mat. Ah, that was nice. Let's go ahead and come into a child. Inhale, let's come to seated on our heels, move to one side or the other, bring the legs out in front of you. Now, from here, we're going to do boat pose. And I was having a really challenging time trying to cue it the last time because I forgot of things that we can do when you're new coming into this pose. So, being new to this pose can be challenging because we don't want to lose the integrity, rolling in the spine. We want to make sure that we keep it nice and strong, and we're getting some strength and actually building up our core strength. So last time I couldn't figure out where to put my hands to tell you, so I'm going to tell you from, if you're just starting out learning boat pose, what you're going to do is you're going to put your hands behind your knees here and kind of hold on to them. Hold on to your legs. So there's some tension there. Sorry, there's something in my mouth. From here, you want to make sure that you're lengthening the spine and the crown of the head is reaching up to the sky and your chest is reaching through. So it's like somebody is pulling, like there's a string being pulled on your heart up to the sky, heaven. On an inhale, you can lift your feet off the mat, keeping your legs bent at the knees, but make sure that your calves are parallel with the floor. We're going to breathe here. If you start to round here, you can bring your legs down a little bit. Just make sure that you keep your chest long and lengthened. Soon you'll be able to, you can even play with it a little bit, feel the strength in your body. Some of you are really strong and you can sit out here forever and like that. I cannot do that quite yet. I even lose my breath as I try. Exhale, let's go ahead and release. Shifting forward, sending the body forward. That feels amazing. We'll do this one more time. I want to inhale. Shoulders down and back, crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. Heart reaching up towards the sky as well as we lift the feet up off the ground, keeping a slight bend in our knees. Calves parallel with the mat, toes pointed, and your hands behind your thighs for support, down at the mat, even off to the side. You can either have your legs bent like me or straight. Breathing here. Last exhale, dropping the feet. Woo! Go ahead and take a nice How did you feel? Did you get some balance? I know I did. Vashisthasana, or side plank, is a very challenging pose for me, and I love that pose. I remember when I couldn't do it and I would fall over, I would get mad. I don't get mad anymore. All right, let's go ahead and make our way down to our backs. And we are gonna settle into Shavasana. Extending the legs long. Letting the arms just naturally fall by the side of the body. Closing your eyes. Taking some long, deep, conscious breath. Feeling the energy run through your body, your prana, life, from nerve energy. Go ahead and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bringing yourself back into this present moment, keeping your eyes heavy. Bringing the knees up to your chest. Rolling over to one side or the other. I'm going to actually move I need to remember this. Rolling to one side or the other. Using the top hand to lift the body to seated. And let's go ahead and come in to how we started with lock under the hips. Hands to heart center. Comes to the third eye as we bow forward and say, Namaste. Well, I hope you found a little bit of balance with me this evening in this practice. I really appreciate the comments that I've been getting, and I really appreciate the coffee. Thank you for those of you who have bought me a cup of coffee. That's something new I started, and I think it's really neat. I'm going to leave the link below if you want to check it out and leave me a cup of coffee. That's super cool. And if you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me comments below. Let me know if there's some areas that you would like me to work on, and I could focus on creating a sequence around, I don't know, maybe low back issues or neck issues. And don't forget, wait, I say comment? I did. And the most important thing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever you're at. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Rumble, please, I'd be honored if you would subscribe to my channel. And let's get on our mat and start learning how to start learning this beautiful journey together. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and I will see you next week. And I will leave all my information below. I don't have a website yet, but I do have a Zoom account. So if any of you are looking for like some personal one-on-one Zoom sessions, feel free to reach out to me too. Let me know that you found me on YouTube, and I'll cut you a good deal, 15% off. Anyway, guys, thanks again. I'll see you next week.